Hello, Shortcuts. This is Steven here. On this list, we are going to cover one of the greatest reggae albums of all time, a series of Japan only presses, some very, very cool soul and blues, some Tom Waits, some Chilean music, some Uruguayan music, and some country music. For those of you who want to know how to get on the price list so you can buy some of these records, listen out right at the very end of this review and I will tell you how to do that. Right, let's get into it. The kickoff record for this list, which is the genre list, so reggae, jazz, blues, soul, country, etc., is this UK first press of Bunny Wailer's incredible album Black Heart Man. So this is the UK first press, which comes in a gatefold with this wonderful kind of gravestone lyrical breakdown. It's got the original inner sleeve, and you can see there it's on the Island label. So why have I chosen this as the kickoff record? Well, Bunny Wailer was in many ways the most contemplative and thoughtful of the maybe three foundational Wailers. And this was his solo debut, and he used this opportunity to kind of showcase Rastafarian thinking and folk tales and some kind of almost spiritual reggae into something that is truly rare. There is a gravity and a beauty and a presence to this album that very few albums ever got. And I include Marley's records in this. If I think about all of the Wailers and all of the solo records, all of their own, all of Marley's that came after, Rastaman Migration being my favorite of his, this, I think, is the best of them all. It balances kind of cultural warnings with this beautiful calm and wisdom, and it reframes kind of Jamaican bogeyman and cultural fearmongering into something that aches. There's the pain, but there's the beauty as well. I love this album. I love the sleeve. His voice is spectacular. There are so many standout tracks. If you just listen to the opening track, Black Heart Man, if that gets your heart, then I think you know that this record is for you. This Train on side 2 is another that I love. I have a UK first press of this. I was absolutely thrilled to find this in my recent trip to the UK. That is why it is the lead-off record. Over the last little while, I've been really getting into Willie Colon, and he has many records, incredibly diverse and amazing artist. And this is one that I picked up recently that I think would be perfect for the list. Again, I found this in the UK. This is Matiendo Mano, European press of Willie Colon presents Ruben Blades. So this is, again, kind of salsa storytelling at a truly genius level, with Ruben Blades kind of newly ensconced in the band. This is trombone, narrative songs that are almost like short film scripts. It's really muscular and brassy, everything that you want for this type of record. I think these things are really cool. And I was at a listening night last night and I played some Willie Colon, and it was voted as one of the tracks that people really kind of gravitated to. Really like a complete rabbit hole to dive down, by the way. The key cut on here, I think, is Pablo Pueblo, which some of you will have heard. It's been sampled in many, many different places. it is a party starter. It's a track that you can put on if you want people to smile and get going. It's really cool. Like, this is post Fania, so this is a little bit different to that Fania Golden period, but I think it's also notable and really, really good. All right, I think I've got oh yeah, I do. I've got a really interesting jazz record now. We're gonna shift around a bunch of genres here now. I've got Hank Mobley and Lee Morgan, Peckin' Time. This is in fantastic condition. It's a 1974 repress in mono, which means it is exactly the same age as me. Lee Morgan on trumpet, Hank Mobley on tenor sax, Wynton Kelly on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Charlie Persip on drums. The listening notes by Ira Gittler, and the producer recording is Rudy Van Gelder, as you might imagine. Now, I mean, Hank Mobley has such a melodic tenor, and pairing up with Lee Morgan's more kind of brassy jabs is just really fun and dramatic music. It's kind of hard bop. It's more kind of conversational. It's just super solid and really, really enjoyable. Again, I think this is one of Blue Note's more interesting slaves. You know, after a while you do kind of get a bit over the green or blue hue with an artist in profile. This is something a little bit interesting. The briefcase, the red briefcase with the keys, master record, handle with care. I love those mono Japanese jazz represses, and I know many of you out there just know how good these records sound. So let's move on to some soul. Now, this is on the Motown label, and I think this is the first time I've ever had this on Shortcuts. This is Sairita, the self-titled album from her. Of course, Stevie Wonder's creative partner. It's worth reading the notes here. My loving thanks to Berry Gordy and Motown Record Corporation for hanging in there with me. Special thanks to Billy Preston for his inspiration as well. Now, she became, and rightfully so, a force in her own right. And I always like to show people this because I know some of you are really into this, but this is a white label promo. It has 0 scuff marks, no issues around the spindle hole. I doubt very much whether this has been played very much at all. I think this is kind of harmonic and rich soul music. She's got a really lovely voice. Think kind of Minnie Riperton, very forward thinking. I think a lot of the Sairita records got a critical reappraisal over time. I mean, it's quite softly spoken, but really cool and really confident. My favorite cut on here is I'm Going Left. It's a real kind of soul deep cut. I hope some of you check it out. All right. Now, this is the first of the Japan only records. I'm pretty sure this is Japan only. I've not seen this anywhere else. This is The Artistry of Kenny Burrell. It's a double LP hard cardboard gatefold with a kind of an insert here. Can you see of Kenny? Kind of quite a cool photo of him. It is a 2 LP mono set on the Prestige label. So what does that mean? That means that it samples tracks from a bunch of records that he did in the late 50s, early 60s on the Prestige label with the likes of Brother Jack McDuff and others. And it's a kind of a kind of trawl through maybe 4 or 5 records from that period. What I think is really good about it is that if you're a Kenny Burrell fan, it means you don't have to go and seek those out. You get the core of what he was doing, which is that kind of typical lyrical mid. He really lets the mids breathe, got this beautiful tone, and it's what I call small hours of the morning music. This guy is the ultimate in chill out, and I think this compilation, for those of you who are Kenny Burrell fans, is well worth digging out. I only played side one, and one of the things that I noticed on side one was how beautiful the cymbal sound was. So I'm curious, a very rounded bass too. I'm curious to hear from whoever picks this one up. All right, and another jazz gem here. This is on the Riverside label. It's still in the shrink with the Obi. This is Sonny Rollins' Freedom Suite. Sonny Rollins in tenor sax, Oscar Pettiford on bass, Max Roach on drums, recorded in New York in February 1958. This is one of Sonny's most famous records, and it is primarily for side one, which is the Freedom Suite itself. It is the whole of side one. It is absolutely fearless. It is structurally amazing. The drum tone on this record is great. I'm pretty sure this is mono because I think it's the only way to list it. It's mono on the Green Milestone label. It really gives you the punchiness you need. I think it's just, I've been turned on to Sonny Rollins by one of you, Ivan. You know who you are, and I just really like this record. I don't know where it sits in his overall canon. You know, for me, I think it's top tier, but I'm willing to be corrected if I'm thinking about it the wrong way. All right, I have a couple of soul and blues records here now that are pretty hard to find. It's relatively straightforward to find the Otis Redding Shrine record. Many of you have a Shortcuts royalty. I'll have another copy next month with Obi. It is utterly magnificent. One of the best records I've ever discovered in running this Shortcuts vinyl club. In addition, it's also pretty straightforward to get Dock of the Bay, which is probably his most famous posthumous record. And he's also pretty straightforward to get Immortal, which is one of my favorite records of his. And I know some of you out there love that record very much. What's a little bit harder to find is this one. This is Love Man by Otis Redding. Another album that was thereabouts around his tragic death. So this was tracked shortly before his death, and then also released posthumously. What I think is notable, even though it's called Love Man, it's actually quite a funky record. Otis is very light on his feet in this. I really like the horns, a really tight, really snappy snare. I really like the rhythm guitar as well. The tracks are great. Love Man, A Lover's Question. You can practically hear Otis smiling through this, which I think is part of the reason why what happened to him is such a tragedy. But Otis, Love Man, Japanese press. I'll find out what year that is. I'm not quite sure. It'll be in the notes on Wednesday. All right, I've got some scrappy, loud, kind of full-on blues for you now. This is Hound Dog Taylor and the Housekeepers. Raw slide guitar, raucous laughs. Hound Dog Taylor on lead guitar and vocals. Brewer Phillips on the second guitar, and Ted Harvey on drums. You heard it right. No bass guitar here. I really like the listening notes. I'm not going to attempt to summarize them. It is well worth the buyer of this reading through these notes the first time you play this record. It will really give you an insight as to how and under God this guy ended up in the studio making such a raucous record. It's really hard to find this Alligator Blues album in really nice condition, but we have one right here. Whilst it is pretty DIY, it leads the way to blues punk and the garage rock and everything in between. I love it. Hound Dog Taylor, the Housekeepers, and that's the classic Alligator label as well. All right, a few more to go. I'm not going to speak too much about this because I think many of you know how much I love this album. It is Soul Junction by Red Garland. And you might notice two little folks here, John Coltrane and Donald Byrd. Just a lovely, I mean, Red Garland on the piano, it's just great. And it is really beautiful, really deep. It's a good hang. It's really listenable. It's a good album for people when they say, I'm not sure I like jazz. It's just one of those records that it just slides off the table and it goes down so easy. All right. I've got a few unusual ones to come. I've got this as well. This is Wayne Shorter's Phantom Navigator. So this is 80s Wayne Shorter. And so let me see who's in the band here with him. I don't know if it'll tell me. Jim Beard. I think I'll do a bit more digging around this period of Wayne Shorter. But my sense of a very quick skim is that you get very rhythmic, kind of geometric forms, slow builds, and lots of electronic percussion. He always was a leader, and he's always deeply fascinating. So if anyone wants to educate me on 80s Wayne Shorter, I am all ears. Okay, these next three are really quite rare and hard to find in Australia. I have the 2 LP best of Tom Waits Asylum years. So this goes all the way from Martha, Shiver Me Timbers, San Diego Serenade, on Closing Time and Saturday Night. All Diamonds for My Windshield, The Heart of Saturday Night, Small Change, of course, Tom Tribert's Blues, which is really important here in Australia. Burma Shave, the piano has been drinking, one of my favorites of his, all the way through to Ruby's Arms. So 2 LP best of. This is all you need really for that classic Asylum years period of Tom before he went off and made Swordfish Trombones and Rain Dogs, etc. There it is. All right, how about 2 records from South America? This first record has a really nice sleeve. It's called Chile Venchera, an anthology of Chilean new music from 1962 to 1973. So this is a sequential walk through a community of art and music from this period. A pretty difficult period in Chilean history, but this kind of almost creates a vision in your mind. All the royalties from the sale of this original record were donated to the Chilean Defense Committee in New York, and this was compiled and released in the US only. Really, really interesting, thoughtful, beautiful record. I'm just going to show you the inside. Look at that. And it's got a quote from Victor Jara from 1973. I don't sing for love of singing or to show off my voice, but for the statements made by my honest guitar. My guitar is not for killers, greedy for money and power, but for the people who labor so that our future may flower. What a beautiful thing. And then to go alongside that, I've got this very interesting and rare record as well. This is a Uruguayan first press from 1985. Reina de la Teja, forgive the absolutely horrendous pronunciation, but this is actually the Uruguayan press, so you can translate the information on the back. Now, this is really percussion heavy, really interesting instruments that I would clearly have never heard of, but the piano cuts through. Some of it is kind of intimate. There's kind of choral voices in places, really, and what a lovely sleeve as well. So, who would have thought we'd have some Chilean, some Uruguayan, And I'm going to finish here with two records that I love to bits. I am still distraught about the demise of Vinyl Me Please. I'm not going to go into it here. For those of you who know, you know. What a shame. I have dug up and found a few Vinyl Me Please records. They are now incredibly hard to get. You can really only get these records in the US. The fact that for a couple of years now there's been no international shipping. Vinyl Me Please stopped international shipping themselves, a while back. Obviously the company fell to pieces, got acquired, and then the acquirers are doing a horrendous job of rebuilding the brand. But I love this album. This is The Silver-Tongued Devil and I by Chris Christopherson, complete with the Obi. This was in their country stream. This was record number 25. AAA lacquers cut from tapes by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, pressed on black and blue Galaxy vinyl with listening notes by Andrew Winstorfer, who was the lead curator at VMP. I think this album is great. There are a few Vinyl Me Please presses in the next list, including Spiritualized and Run DMC. If you missed out on Vinyl Me Please, what an opportunity to kind of understand what all the fuss is, and what a fantastic record. And I'm going to finish off with this because it's been in the crates for donkeys and it's so good, it really shouldn't be. This is Cherry by Stanley Turrentine, complete with Obi. And I love this record, hence why I'm just giving it one more little push. All right, there you have it. That is the genre list. If you enjoyed listening to me rabbit on about lots of different records from around the world, please like and comment. It really makes a difference. In addition, if you would like the opportunity to buy one of these records, because they're all for sale, they will be on a playlist on a price list that will be published at 9 p.m. Sydney time this Wednesday, November 5th. You just need to drop me your email address to the following email address: shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. I'll add you to the email list. You will see the prices get published 9 p.m. Wednesday, and just reply with what you would like, and it is first come, first serve. Now, I have a rock and pop list to come that's got all sorts of cool stuff, so I'm going to finish off this video and get it uploaded so that some of you can watch. As I mentioned, please comment, please let me know if there are people actually watching these. I'm not wasting my time. And yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.